What is good? It's your boy Slim Trader back at it again with another weekend analysis. Hope you all had a great week last week. We're just gonna go ahead and get right to it. We're gonna start with USDJPY. Hopefully, I don't spend too much time and we can probably knock out a few other pairs, but we will see. Because whatever I put on here is the ones that I want to look at and trade during the week anyway. So let's start with USDJPY. Basically, last week we ended around here, this area. Oh man, I had said that price is possibly going to be heading to 150. As we can see, we have already gained roughly about 300 pips up to the upside. We're going to just follow. I added another trend line because from this green bar, we just made another trend. I wouldn't be surprised if it got broken, but it's there and I'm going to use it and utilize it. So right now, this is going to be the guide or the road to 150. Also, price ended up closing the week above, barely above this gray bar that I've always been having. You see what I'm telling you, I don't touch, I don't move any of these, and you can just see how price plays perfectly off of technical analysis, your support and resistance key levels, especially if you got them placed right. So with this one, price like basically is just hanging on the ledge of this support, trying to make it a support. So we'll see if it hangs on and decides to go ahead and push up to 150 or not. But right now it's kind of like in a little range, so not too sure. We might see price dip down slightly below the support area, and then use this trend line to go ahead and make that next leg up to 150. This leg pretty much started right here. If we throw a fib, I'm not really a big fan of 23.6. However, price did want to come down to 38.2. I'll be definitely in that for a buy because we can see there's a lot of impulse buyers, a lot of buying pressure, and maybe a little short rest or break below the support and then pushing back up. I can definitely see that happening. And the 27 extension lies right on 149.999, right at 150. I mean, that's confluence for me to try to get in for a buy. And like I said, I've been ever since we clipped this, I put the trend line back. Ever since we clipped this and then we made the support, we've just been pushing up. So, and then we went above the red bar. So, path of least resistance is 150 at this moment. So that's what I'm looking for at USDJPY now. The only thing is just a matter of when and how to get in. So, like I said, me sometimes I miss a lot of trades because I'm not watching the market that much, and I have alerts and whatnot, but sometimes I'd be waiting for price to go lower sometimes, like retrace lower. Like I could easily say, oh, price probably gonna get down here and then shoot up, which it definitely can, kind of like fake, because the trend line, I mean, the trend line is important, but if it's broken, it doesn't necessarily mean the trend is over, because we still have this, like the next, let me erase this fib. The next major key level of support is this orange line. Until that happens, then we can start talking about some other things. But until then, like UJ bullish, but it's a, back to what I was saying, it's just a matter of where price wants to bounce at and then head up. That's what I'm looking at. And sometimes you just have to watch it, monitor it on different time frames, put alerts down, and sometimes my retracements are too deep. I feel like price may go down too deep, and sometimes it just goes ahead and launches back up, and I miss it. But it's fine. It's cool missing the trades. You get to live to see another day. But it sucks that you miss out on some profit. But with UJ, we're still going up. Red, blues over the red on the moving average, looking good, staying above this area. If it wants to consolidate all the way until we get to the trend line and then have the support as well, that's even better. I'll take that. But definitely looking bullish for USD JPY. Next one is GBP USD, and I don't know. I don't. It's still in consolidation. I'm not really feeling GU right now, just because this whole range right here is just like consolidation. Like that's all this is. And if you want to make a box, like, 'cause usually when consolidation is broken, you can see you'll see price kind of trade in that next block. So if price was to break this range of consolidation, definitely could see price getting up to this, to the top of this red area. Now if we did it the other way, like if price was right here and then it broke down to the downside, we can see price getting down to 125, which I always felt like price was going to, even though I was bullish, I felt like if GU wanted to go ahead and drop, it was going to drop to 125, because 125 is a serious level. And you could tell why it is, because when it came back down and retest 125 back here in December, you saw this big bullish candle and just shot all the way up. That's how important some psychological levels are. I don't really look at psychological levels like that, but like 125 definitely, 110 definitely, 1.00 definitely, 150 like USDJPY definitely. Like those big round numbers, I like to look at those and use those as psychological levels. But back to GU, we're ranging, we're still carrying on the trend line. I did have some alerts here to try to figure out what it wants to do. Um, it's looking bullish. It dipped down a little bit below the key level, but it instantly rebounded and it's trading above it right now. I just like to see price break and close above this orange line for me to feel a little bit more comfortable of it going up. But for right now, it's still showing a bullish movement. I'm still bullish on GU. I'm gonna go ahead and extend this line right here, so this bar, so I can have a better gauge, because it seems like it may hit it this week. We'll see. But it has to close. It has to close above this, and I'm still looking at 128.5 as well. So it has to give me something. Right now, still in this range. Like I said, it's playing around, but it still looks bullish, because overall we are in an uptrend. We did have this long time of consolidation since December, mid-December, and now we're still riding this trend. We're on the support. We're trying to get some bullish momentum going on. So we'll see. I still like my bullish sentiment on GBP USD. Okay, so now we're gonna go to GBP JPY. Let me go ahead and delete this, because this one's not really needed anymore. And I was using these for teaching purposes. I can go ahead and erase those. So last week I was talking about how price could possibly, well, I was talking about price getting all the way back, getting up to like 188, 189 level. And I was waiting for this trend line to break, and it pretty much did exactly that, and it just kept shooting up from there. Um, I did add this trend line. I did add this little mini support. That was also for teaching purposes, but I'm going to keep it on there because I think this may play a role on when I feel like price may want to, um, if price wants to go ahead and reverse or retrace, should I say, I want to see it break the trend line, break this area, retest, and then I could take it to 185 or something. So that's there, just a contingency. I like to have contingency plans on my trades, on my bias, because price can do whatever it wants. It can be bullish one day and then turn around and go bearish. But we are approaching an area where GBP JPY could start heading back down a little bit. But the thing about GJ's been so like bullish for so long. So I mean, it's either it's time for that to come on down, or we're just going to keep going higher. So it wasn't like back in 2015, we that's the last time GJ even touched this area, this realm. So we're there now. We're here. Um, the question is what we're going to do here. So right now, if we're looking at the daily, Friday it ended in a nice doji candle. Those are the ones I like to see if I'm looking for some type of hesitation or reverse happening. One thing I do notice is price is away. Let me delete this real quick, this trend line. Price is away from the moving averages. And with the moving average, I like when I see price get to a key level, let's say in this instance, resistance. When I see price get to a resistance and it's not following the trend line, the moving average, it's like floating in midair. Like there's no, like the feet is just floating. When I say feet, I'm talking like the bottom wicks and stuff, like how like price was just riding like they're using it as a support. Like right here was floating. It's way above the moving average. It comes back down and retests it. And I feel like that's going to be the same thing right here because we're at a major key level. We got a doji. We're floating, and eventually I feel like we're going to get some type of retracement going on, possibly a reversal, but I don't know. Maybe a strong retracement. I'm actually still kind of bullish on GJ, but I can see a nice drop at least from here to here. That's like 240 pips. I wouldn't mind taking that quick sell, but as of right now, we're still bullish. There's no inclination of um, it reversing yet or retracing until we get below this and break this trend line. So maybe 190 if it wants to continue to go bullish, and we can go from there. I don't know about GJ. I would like to say I'm still bullish. This big bearish candle on the 4 hour lets me know that there is some hesitation going on. There are some sellers. They're lurking. They're somewhere around here. Are they right here? Are they going to be right here and start pushing down, or are they going to wait for price to get to 190 and then start bringing in that bearish pressure? If we look back in the past here in November, we can see that we barely clipped this area of 188,500, and then we started heading on down and dropped down tremendously. And that's when we had that double top where I thought we were just going to go bearish, but we didn't. So we kind of gathered all the way down from here, and we've just been pushing up. So I feel like price still wants to continue up. If I hide the moving average, like we're technically like, or this moving average is about the same as this moving average. I like to look at things like that to see um, if we can get above average. This is average. If this can get above the average, then lets me know that price probably going to get to 190, and that's how I look at it. So right now, GJ, it may be tomorrow evening. I'll probably look at that for a trade because I think the move will be made, or it'll set me up to where it lets me know what it wants to do, and that's probably when I'll get in for a trade. But definitely bullish on GJ. GBP AUD, we're gonna look at this now. Like I said, I was definitely bullish on GBP AUD. I believe we ended the week around this area, and it pretty much clipped down to 190 and just shot up. And right now, I just feel like it's time, probably going to get down to about 190.15 and then push up. 195, 1.95 is what I feel like GBP AUD wants to go to. We do have like this little mini trend line. I understand how price dipped down, and then it reminds, look, this, I'm telling you, if you pay attention and understand, you will probably make some good profit. Like it goes back to the long trend line. We had this long trend line, price just dipped down, and then eventually just act like nothing happened. And I can see this happening again with this little trend line, using this trend as like a launch pad. And I can see price just doing the same thing, dip it down, then using this part as like a like a right shoulder support trend line and then just shooting up. It hasn't GA is not giving me any inclination that it wants to go down now, and I'm always about the path of least resistance. So right now I got it. If you look at the 4 hour, I'm just waiting for a price to break this little mini counter trend down, counter trend line back to the moving average, getting the blue over the red, and going in for a buy to 195. Simple as that with GA. And from where it's at now to where I feel like it wants to go, that's about 250 pips. It'll probably be a little bit less than that because it may, well, unless it decides to go down some more, which I'm hoping it does. So this big bearish candle is letting me know that this trend line is legit. So I would love to see it go down some more, use this support or this trend line, and then break this line. Oh, I'm telling you, if it comes down lower, that's an even better entry. Like that could possibly be 300 pips, and I'm all here for it. So very bullish on GBP AUD. I'm just gonna wait and see how low it wants to go before I get in for a buy. Next we have Euro JPY. Euro JPY, I um, was also bullish and feeling that it'll get to like the 162 range, I believe. Let me see where we stopped at last week. It was, oh yeah, it came around the 159 area. I didn't have this trend line. I'm so surprised I didn't draw the trend line down from last week because the end of the week literally right here, if I would have had this trend line and I would have saw this, I missed this trade. If I would have saw Sunday 6 hour candle, whatever daily close like that, I would have got in for a trade. I missed a lot of this, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. But that's why it's important to have trend lines. You had one bounce, you had two. This would have been a third. Usually after the third, everybody sees it and it's no longer it's I'm not gonna say no longer valid, but I don't the slope of this trend line is making me feel like we may not be using this trend line anymore uh no time soon. I think the next time it hits it, I think it may be starting to go down. That's just me. Um when you think of USDJPY, you see it's approaching 150, which I think is a major area to where we can start seeing some type of bearish pressure. If we go to GBP JPY, we are already in that threshold and we're getting to 190 possibly to I feel like we'll start seeing that bearish pressure. And the same with Euro JPY. We're here at almost at 162, but we already wicked on it on Thursday. I feel like that bearish pressure is coming. I think it's the yen's time to go ahead and make something happen. And if you look at it, the 22nd, which is tomorrow, we have Bank of Japan's interest rate decision, which I think is going to be big news because they've been so dovish on their monetary policy to where it's like they have the lowest, I've said this in previous episodes, they have the lowest interest rate, negative 0.1. There are talks that they could be raising it. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what it wants to do. So I don't think price is going to be riding this trend line. I think it's going to get broke. And if anything, I see price getting down to maybe the 158 area, and then we'll see from there. I still think it's bullish. It's just I think it's due for a nice retracement though. That's just me. What do you think? I don't know. I'm gonna watch EJ though. I like EJ. So we'll see. Still a lot of bullish momentum though. I just don't like this trend line. I don't trust it quite much, even though it's been riding it pretty well. Um, but I can see price capping at 162 area and then heading down, but we'll see. But if the price do want to come down here and make some type of bullish candlestick, I'll take it to the 162, 163 area. But we'll see. Until the moving average stays this way, blue over the red, staying bullish. But that's my time. See you guys next week. Happy trading.